This is Jeremy Adair with InternetMarketingForBusinessOwners.com, and today we're going to talk about social marketing and how to get the people you meet on social sites to take notice of you and want to associate with you, such that when they're ready to buy what you offer, then you're the first person they go to. Because there's a lot of ways to be a pest and be annoying to people that you meet online, and we're going to talk about how to not be that person. We're going to talk about how to be the person that people are so glad that they accidentally ran into online because you fill the exact need that they have. Now, of course, your meeting them was no accident at all. To illustrate, let me tell you a little bit about Jenny. Jenny is a premium member of the Internet Marketing for Business Owners website. Her website is called Absolatte.com, and go ahead and check it out. She makes lattes, but not in a regular coffee shop. She will go with a pharmaceutical rep out to a doctor's office and start serving lattes to the whole office. And what happens? Well, doctors decide that in between patients, they'd like a free latte, and they come out to get one. And while they stand in line, and while they drink their coffee, the pharmaceutical rep gets a chance to talk with them. You see, doctors are hard to corner and get their attention, but not if you lure them out into the open like this. And with that background on Jenny, we're going to switch over to a recording of one of my daily coaching calls. Nearly every day I host this call where the members of my site can call in and we can talk about internet marketing. This was Jenny's first time on the call, so we spent a little time working with her to get her going in the right direction. Her first question was, how can I find pharmaceutical reps in Houston, Texas? And the answer to that ties into several important tips on social marketing that you'll get a lot out of. So here's the call. Enjoy.
And of course I can do social events as well. I've done weddings and all that, but those are really more labor intensive and not as lucrative. The sales reps allow me to work during the work week, and I don't have to do weekends and evenings and all that.
Ah, nice. Okay, so you really know who you're looking for then, huh?
Definitely.
Okay. Now LinkedIn offers some unique possibilities when it comes to finding the right people within an organization. And what you can do is if you have a specific company, usually you start with specific companies, and you type that into LinkedIn, then what it'll do is it'll tell you exactly who they have from that company on their website. And typically that person has their exact title, the description of what they do, and that is probably one of the easiest ways to find specific people within a specific company. But right now, with, you say Pfizer, let's take a look. I don't know, I'll try Pfizer Houston. We'll see if something pops up there. But there's a couple of different possibilities that might work out here. I typed in Pfizer Houston. I'm mostly getting people's last name that have the last name Houston.
I got the same thing.
So,
people with the last name of Houston.
Yeah, let's see here. And, until you try it out, you don't know what's going to happen here. But let's see what we got here. Filter by... Hey, look at that. Over on the left-hand side, it says filter by location.
Advanced?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, where's that? Okay, I see.
Yeah, you see that?
Look at that.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's see what pops up here.
So we'll go back to Pfizer and do location.
Healthcare representative
So did you
at
put
Pfizer.
just Pfizer in there?
Yeah, so what I did was I clicked on Houston, Texas area first, and then brought up a whole bunch of different companies, and then I went back up right above that in the search bar, and I just put in Pfizer. I took off the Houston part.
Okay, great. Let me try that.
And I hit search, and tell me if you get the same thing I do. Yeah. Because it
Cool.
looks like we got exactly the people you're looking for.
Now what do I do?
Okay, yeah, well, let's take a... we can run through...
How do I net them in?
Now, the idea behind social networking, I've heard this kind of described in a couple of different ways, but one of my favorites is like this. Social networking, when you first get on there, we're talking about LinkedIn and Facebook and things like that. Social networking is a lot like going to a party. And what happens is when you go to a party and you're over at somebody's house and there's a bunch of people there that you don't know, if you walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, my name is Bob, and I do this and blah, 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 and would you be interested in buying something from me?" And then what happens at that point in the conversation? Well, you can imagine that people kind of say, that's interesting, Bob, and they try and shuffle away so that you're not talking to them anymore. And that's not the way to do it at parties. So what happens at parties is maybe you sit down with a couple of guys, and at first you're just kind of there. You're just kind of shooting the breeze. What happens is you're talking about nothing in particular, and then maybe you say, "So, Jim, what is it that you do for work? And Jim says, oh, well, I blah, 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 blah. And they tell you a bit about what they do because you asked. And then naturally what kind of tends to happen is they come back at you and they say, so what is it that you do? And if you happen to know that Jim is one of the people that you'd like to do business with, well, then you can word things in such a way that Jim might say, oh, really? Well, that's interesting because there's possibilities we could work together. Tell me more about what you do. And then at that point, it's kosher for you to talk about your business and to pitch
Victor
them on it,
Nugent.
if you want to say that. At that point, you have their permission for you to talk with them and to tell them a bit about what you do and how this might work in a business setting. But until that point,
Dirt farmer.
until they actually ask you about your business or what it is that you do, and they express some interest in that, at a party you wouldn't bring that up. You wouldn't just kind of dump on them and say, hey, this is everything that I want you to know about my business. So that's the same way that it works in a social network. That's the same way it works in social networking, is basically once they start to ask you and they start to, because you've built a bit of a rapport with them, a little bit of a relationship, once they become interested in what you do, then then you can open it up and really talk about what it is that you wanted to talk about in the first place, but it wasn't the right time when you first met somebody. Now, at this point in the call, Jenny and I, and several other people on the call, and if you're hearing background noise and such, it's because there were several other people on the line, we all helped Jenny come up with a game plan. And if we had an extra 10 minutes, I would love for you to hear how other people on the call contributed and how together we all arrived at this strategy for her. But to keep things short, I had to edit that out, so let me sum up what we came up with. Because this is a very useful strategy that could work very well for whatever business you're running. We figured out that if Jenny could do a little research and write a couple articles on the topic of how pharmaceutical reps can better get in front of doctors, just some good, informative, helpful articles, then she could put those articles on her website, and then when she had a chance to communicate with a rep online, she could easily say to them, oh, you're a pharmaceutical rep. I have something that might be helpful for you. I recently wrote an article with several ideas on how you can get to see doctors that you're trying to talk to. If you've ever had difficulty getting a doctor's attention, then you might find this very useful. And she'll give them a link to her website so that they can read the articles. And she instantly becomes a resource to pharmaceutical reps. And if she does things right, they'll come back and thank her and want to keep in touch with her and work with her. And so that's what she's putting together right now. And this kind of approach may work very well for your business. So let's jump back on to the end of the call now. Now, the idea behind social networking, whenever you can become a resource for your target market and have information that would help them out, and you can, in your first introduction is, hey, here's some things that have helped a lot of other people out. Maybe this would be interesting reading for you. And you give them some information that takes them to your website and really helps them out, then automatically you've put yourself heads and shoulders, heads and tails, good. Heads and shoulders above the other people who are just trying to pitch them things all day long. That would probably be the first thing I would say, is start putting together a few resources like that you can use to really draw people in and help them out. Start collecting questions that people need answers to, like what are some good ways to get in and see people? And of course, one of the answers would be, hire you.
Yeah, my hard thing for me is just holding back, because I think patience is my biggest challenge in this lifetime. And so, trying to just chatter with them for a while before I slam them with the sales pitch would be the hardest thing for me.
And that's what social networks like LinkedIn are all about. You really do have to hold off on the selling and telling and really form a bit of a relationship first. But it works like a charm when you do that properly.
Okay.
Okay, so that was the call, and I have Jenny here just to add a little bit of her insight into this. Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
So give us some thoughts on what we talked about during this coaching call.
Sure. It was really helpful, actually, because I was confused about exactly how I could use LinkedIn to find my particular customers. And together we went online and we we were able to get directly to the customers I wanted to target here in Houston, and that was really helpful. And so now I'm starting to see how powerful LinkedIn can be as a networking tool. And then we even talked about how do we approach these people.
So this call was helpful in helping you figure out the next step and helping you progress in your business?
Exactly.
Nice. Now, do you know how much I charge an hour for businesses for individual consultation?
No, I don't.
It's $350 an hour.
Wow. I feel like we kind of got as much individual consultation as I would need there. And it didn't cost me $350 an hour.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Do you know why people pay for that? It's because, do you think that you might make an extra $350 throughout the course of your latte blending career that you wouldn't have made if we hadn't have spoken, right?
I think so.
So that's basically the idea there. But, well, tell me, Jenny, how often do I hold these coaching calls?
I'm still new at this, but I believe you hold them Tuesday through Friday.
Yeah, for a couple of hours. And actually on Saturday, too. I just opened that up.
Okay.
And so you just dial into a number and join in on these calls whenever you want to?
Yes, absolutely.
And you've done that more than once already?
I have. I've been there a couple of times, and I'm still kind of working on the things that we previously talked about before I dig deeper and get into another conference call.
Yeah, and so you can come back on the call and say, hey, this is what I've done. We can take a look at it. We can give you a critique, and other members on the call can give you some ideas about what they're thinking about it there. And so you can kind of get this ongoing support as well.
Exactly. And I was also really impressed on the conference call with the amount of brainstorming from the other members on the call as well. There was actually some great input from others as well.
Absolutely. Okay, and you're not paying $350 an hour for this then?
No, not at all.
Well, does it at least cost $350 a month?
No.
Okay, not even close to that, right?
Not even close.
Okay. All right, but would it be worth that?
I think it would be worth it, yes.
Okay, I'm glad you agree. Because I do purposely keep the price low so that people who are just getting started can get the kind of support that they need when they really need it. And, you know, when I say they really need it most when they're just getting started, or when they haven't made money online yet, or when they're struggling to do everything that they need to do. And we can help them get on track a lot faster.
Oh, yes. There's just so much information to take in. If you try to do it by yourself, you just get lost in a fog, and that's where I was.
All right, and when I say we, I'm talking about you too, because within a month or two, you're going to understand how this stuff works, and you're going to be helping new people who come onto the call with your insights, just like a lot of the other members who are on the call, right now, are offering their insights to your business.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, awesome. Any last thoughts?
No, I just I think if people are on the fence and they're not sure if they want to do it or not, I said to myself, gosh, what do I have to lose? And I really am happy that I did it.
I'll look forward to talking with you some more then.
Excellent. Sounds good to me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. And now for you, the person watching this, imagine getting this kind of personalized coaching for your business as often as you want it. If this kind of support and training is what you're looking for, then take a moment to imagine how much you'd be willing to pay on a monthly basis to be able to dial into this kind of a call almost every day of the week. How much would it be worth to you? And then click below to see if what it actually costs fits inside how much you imagine you would pay for it. And if it does, well, then that's your cue that it's time to join my site and get access to this coaching call. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial, and I hope to talk with you in person very soon.